You know that little robot vacuum that scoots around your house? Ever stop and wonder what's actually going on inside its little robot brain? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the secret source code that keeps it from destroying your home. And get this, it's almost 70 years old, and it comes from a place you would never, ever expect.
I mean, really think about it. You let this autonomous little machine just wander around your house, often when you're not even there. So what stops it from, eating your phone charger, getting into a fight with your dog, or just taking a nosedive right down the stairs? Well, the answer isn't in some cutting-edge engineering lab. It's somewhere else.
We put a ton of trust in these little guys, right? We schedule them, we let them do their thing, but that trust is built on a foundation that was laid long before the first Roomba ever rolled off an assembly line. It's a set of principles designed to make them safe, helpful, and, most importantly, obedient.
Yep, you heard that right. The core philosophy that prevents total chaos in your living room comes straight out of a science fiction book. We're talking about a story written decades before microchips were common, let alone household robots. This is a classic case of sci-fi literally becoming reality.
So let's name names. This all comes from one of the absolute giants of science fiction. See, to make his fictional world of robots feel real and safe, he had to invent a kind of ethical operating system for them. And he had no idea that his fictional framework would one day leap off the page and into millions of homes.
The secret code is the Three Laws of Robotics. They were created by the legendary Isaac Asimov for his book iRobot. He needed a foolproof way to make sure his robots wouldn't, turn on their human masters. And in solving that problem for his stories, he accidentally wrote the rule book for real-world robotics.
But here's the really brilliant part. It's not just the rules themselves, it's the hierarchy. The first law, don't hurt people, is the absolute #1 priority. Can't break it, period. The second law, obey orders, is next, but you can't obey an order if it violates Law 1. And last, Law 3, protect yourself. A robot has to sacrifice itself to follow an order or to save a person. It's this simple, elegant logic that makes the whole thing work.
Okay, so a sci-fi author wrote some cool rules. It's a great story. But how did they actually get from the pages of a dusty book into the circuit board of your vacuum? You'd think there's a few steps in between, right? Well, the connection is way more direct than you think.
This isn't just a fun theory. The proof comes straight from the top. Colin Angle, the founder of iRobot, the company that makes the Roomba, he said it himself. He basically said, Asimov gave us the blueprint. We were trying to build the safe, helpful robot he dreamed up. They weren't just building a gadget. They were trying to build Asimov's vision.
And if you dig into the paper trail, it's everywhere. We're talking an internal developer manual from 2001 that literally says adherence to Asimovian principles. It's cited in their patents. Patents for the core tech that makes a Roomba, obstacle detection, the whole autonomous cleaner idea. This was not an accident. This was baked in from day one.
Okay, so we know it was intentional, but how does a philosophical rule from a book actually become a thing? Hardware, software, sensors. Let's break down exactly how your Roomba is living by Asimov's laws every single day.
This is where it all clicks. Law 1, harm no human. For your Roomba, that's the cliff sensor so it doesn't fall on someone. That's the brush motor not being powerful enough to cause injury. And it's the auto shutoff the second you pick it up. Law 2, obey orders. That's you setting a schedule or telling it to clean a specific room or drawing a no-go line on the map in the app. And Law 3, protect yourself. That's the Roomba knowing to go back to its dock to recharge, or gently bumping into a chair leg and going around, or avoiding a puddle. Every single law is a real-world feature.
But this story is so much bigger than just the Roomba. By creating the first really successful and safe home robot, iRobot basically used Asimov's ideas to write the rulebook for the entire industry that came after it.
Now we have to make a really important distinction here. Asimov was writing about true artificial intelligence, robots that could think and have an ethical conscience. Your Roomba doesn't think. It's a very clever automaton. It's not pondering the morality of the first law. It's just running a program that says, if lift sensor equals true, then stop motor. It's the spirit of the laws, not a sentient robot having a debate with itself.
But that spirit, it became the absolute gold standard. Because iRobot proved that this framework, safety first, obey second, self-preservation third, works. It makes for a reliable robot that people aren't afraid to have in their homes. And so every competitor who came along, your Sharks, your Eufys, your NATOs, they all followed the same basic playbook. Asimov's laws became the unspoken rules of the game.
So the next time you see that little robot gliding across the floor, Remember that the ghost in the machine is the imagination of a science fiction author from 1950. It's just this incredible reminder of how stories can literally build our future. And it leaves you with a pretty wild thought. If a 70-year-old story wrote the rules for the technology in our homes today, what stories being written right now are laying the foundation for tomorrow?